In 200 meters, slight right. Head south. In 800 meters, continue straight. In 500 meters, continue straight.
Alright, hey James, how you doing? Picking up the wife. Being the taxi driver. How you doing? How's your day going?
Head northeast. In 150 meters, turn right. Turn right.
Try this thing. Stay up here. It's late. I fell asleep. I was waiting for my wife.
Continue for 800
God
meters.
damn it. I was waiting for my wife to,
We found a faster route which saves 2 minutes. If you prefer to stay on the current route, tap no thanks.
accept.
Continue for 800 meters.
I found, I fell asleep. So, what are you guys up to? What's happening? Let's see here. So this is the radio. I don't even know what's going on. I haven't watched any news or anything. I haven't watched any news or anything.
While we all wait around for the Epstein files to be released and for Donald Trump to declare war on Venezuela for their oil as
In 300 meters, turn left.
we figured, you know what, it's the holidays. Why not do another episode in the meantime? That way we can take next week off to completely ignore the news and spend time with our families over the holidays. Now, first of all, you gotta look at this. Look at this beautiful
At the
specimen.
stop sign,
Wow.
turn
It'd be
left.
a real shame if anything happened to it. No, it's actually really pretty, and it was sent to us from Sweden.
All the way from Sweden, just to get lit on fire.
We got our own little Yevlebakken, lovingly gifted to us.
In 500 meters, turn right.
Well, maybe. Thank you, Just Say Jay on Blue Sky. We promise to not burn it until, I don't know, maybe next year. Maybe next year is the year we do the burning. Now, obviously, we have some other news to get to, but I know that we're all tired of seeing that gigantic human asshole on the thumbnail, so instead, let's start the episode off with the news that arguably the biggest live streamer in the world appears to have committed the first ever assault on what is described as an openly gay robot, and he ruined that gay robot's career in the process. Okay, well, we're gonna need a lot of context
Head
here.
south.
Luckily, we have an in-house expert on gay robots.
In 400
right here.
meters, turn
Ellie,
left.
who is Jake the Rizbot, and why would someone want to hurt him?
Okay, so Jake the Rizbot is a bipedal robot that, while controlled remotely by a human operator, communicates through AI and is considered Gen Z based on the way that it talks.
That white baseball cap is
At the stop sign, turn left.
My homie, that beard's cold and that mustache is hard. You look clean, nephew. Gee, that black smartwatch is straight iced out, and that white tee's
Continue for 3 kilometers.
Yeah, I've seen this thing. Yeah, I assumed it was CGI. I guess it's not.
We found a faster route which saves 2 minutes. If you prefer to stay on the current route, tap no thanks.
I didn't think too hard about it. I just said
Clanker! I just got angry and started scrolling by it.
But the Rizbot rose to fame over the summer when videos of him walking the streets of Austin, Texas started to go viral. And yeah, you obviously know where we stand on the AI aspect of it. And according to the comments,
500 meters, turn right.
Showed you, others agree. What do they agree? Clanker!
Fucking clanker.
Shut up, Chrome Dome.
Silver skin having code crunching number noting clanker.
Shut up, Battery Boy.
Why are you talking to this wire picker?
Someone slapped the shit out of that thing.
Shut the fuck up, Tinsin.
Go back to the factory you're made from, clanker.
But amidst all the slop that you see online these days, at least this was I guess, somewhat unique to see this.
To the factory you're made from, clanker.
But amidst all the slop that you see online these days, at least this was I guess, somewhat unique gimmick.
At the light,
to see
turn
this
right.
robot dressed in a cow hat down 6th Street and occasionally chatting up the locals. We used to have one of these at the county fair when I was growing up, and it was almost exactly the same as this because it was operated by someone remotely. But in that scenario, it provided a job to one very funny individual who sat in a booth and talked to children through a video monitor. Now the robot took his job.
Continue for 7 kilometers.
Here's some reporting from the time that this was all happening via USA Today.
Underneath the drip, Jake the Rizbot is a Unitree G1 humanoid agent AI avatar starting at $16,000. The 4-foot, 77-pound robot features between 23 to 43 joint motors, allowing it to move its limbs, torso, and head, similar to that of a human. The avatar features a depth camera and spatial sensor, allowing it to see its environment. The G1 humanoid agent AI avatar requires a manual operator, the Unitree website states, but Jake's handler hasn't made himself known. A TikTok account with the username RizbotOfficial has posted a few videos of Jake the Rizbot just interacting with the camera, but it is unclear who operates the account. Yo, check my drip, humans. Got that fake gold chain swinging on my neck, the robot says in a video posted by the RizbotOfficial TikTok account. Ready to steal yo girl.
I don't know how they can't identify him. Anyone who's seen this robot in real life, it's just like at Disneyland. There's a guy probably 20 feet away with a backpack or like a coat on, and he's using all the buttons inside of his jacket.
Probably not even hiding that well.
Yeah. It's usually a guy wearing a backpack looking very inconsistent.
For the guy in trench coat. So yeah, Jake goes viral, starts traveling the country, and eventually makes its way to West Hollywood, where the Rizbot is seen dressed head to toe in rainbows, and officially comes out as gay.
Yeah.
Here's Futurism from back in July.
It seems that Jake the Rizbot has made its way west to the City of Angels' storied neighborhood. Despite living more authentically in WeHo, it appears that the Rizbot is no less awkward than it was when it was still in the closet. In another video, Jake was heard asking a woman out to dinner before cringily playing the saxophone riff from George Michael's Careless Whisper, but only after ridiculing another woman over her floral dress and thin excuse for a fashion statement of a necklace. Despite its innocuous weirdness, right-wingers have taken Jake's coming out as an invitation to attack the robot for promoting a woke agenda on behalf of China.
What?
What's next? One user wrote, a trans robot?
Y'all are taking this a little too seriously.
Yeah, I think there's putting a little too much weight into this, guys.
I don't think China gives a fuck. Well, first of all, China is less, well, I don't know. Their approach to gay rights is certainly different than ours, but I would not call it any more woke than ours.
No, this is a rainbow bomb that they're deploying on the streets of America. You don't understand.
The rainbow bomb.
Yes.
Classic idea.
Yeah.
And
don't say the right or wrong combination of words, or else it will explode into a mist of confetti
we'll make all of our enemies gay.
and glitter.
If my son sees a robot acting gay,
It's gonna turn my
son gay. Also, they keep referring to the robot as it.
No, I say it. I refuse to refer to it as.
No, but even in the articles,
Yeah.
they didn't say he.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like,
free
what-
drugs.
Maybe they have the same
Drug
position as me, where I
companies
simply
are going to
refuse
start
to.
paying you to take
But
their
if
drugs.
Jake is gay, is he
All
into
you
men
Lipitor
or other
patients.
kids? I don't understand. What would a gay robot? What does that mean?
I think now you're thinking too hard into it.
I think I am.
Mm-hmm.
But with that incredible backstory out of the way, we need to fast forward to last weekend when Jake the Rizbot was scheduled to get the biggest break of its career, a gig with Mr. Beast!
The Kingmaker?
Yeah, there was just one problem. Before the event, Jake was back in Austin, live streaming with iShowSpeed, one of the largest streamers in the world, who, like many other IRL streamers, is constantly doing crazy shit because those viewers just eat it all up.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to preface this with, I don't personally think that iShowSpeed assaulted the robot because it's gay.
Yeah.
I don't think the streamer even knew about Jake's brief stint in WeHo.
Yeah.
I think he was just getting into a fight with it because it was entertaining to his viewers. But the headline, streamer sued for assaulting gay robot, is too enticing for anyone to pass up. Here's futurism again.
Jake the Rizbot has run into trouble. As Complex reports, the robot was allegedly assaulted and permanently damaged by streamer Darren Jason Watkins Jr., better known online under the moniker iShowSpeed. The robot's developer, Social Robotics, has now filed a lawsuit against Watkins Jr. for a whopping $1 million in monetary relief. According to the complaint, Watkins Jr. became angry and agitated and eventually intentionally assaulted the robot. Footage circulating online shows the streamer getting into a verbal altercation with the robot before sucker punching it, putting it into a chokehold, and shoving it onto a sofa in anger.
This nasty. Stop talking. Stop talking. Bro, say so. Emotional damage. Yo, this lady's acting like he's laughing like he's funny. And... All right, bro, watch out, man. That's it. That's it. No, that's it. He think I'm playing, bro.
You can't choke a robot.
He did.
It doesn't breathe.
He choked the robot, and the robot reacted by farting on him. And it made him even more angry.
Okay.
So according to the lawsuit, Rizbot turned out to be a total loss, forcing its owner to cancel a co-hosting opportunity with Jimmy Mr. Beast Donaldson and an appearance on the NFL Today show on CBS.
The robot is dead!
Oh no, you guys, I was supposed to have a really fun co-host today. There's a, I don't know, maybe it's AI. There's a video of like Mr. Beast showing up to see a flying car that's just, it's a quadcopter.
Yeah.
But all of his fans show up. I hope it's AI because there's like a ton of children around. And then this guy jumps in this quadcopter and starts hovering up and down. I'm just like,
You're gonna cut those children's heads off.
they just had a helicopter crash in Orange County like 2 months ago.
Gonna have a Jonathan Landis
I hope it's AI.
Twilight Zone situation. Vic Morrow.
Continues. This is no doubt a monumental setback for the Rizbot in terms of viral momentum and financial gain from the exposure, the lawsuit reads. Being in a Mr. Beast production is akin to being in a Super Bowl commercial. The robot lamented to TechCrunch that it had to get a whole new body since the streamer wrecked its last one. Everything's brand new except my Nike kicks and cowboy hat, the robot added. Shut up, you bag of bolts. Go crunch some numbers.
Yeah, this is all just a plot to normalize, further normalize robots walking our streets.
I don't feel bad.
Taking- I mean, I have noticed. Luckily, where I live, they have not deployed the robots. I feel like I'm living in one of the last bastions of true freedom.
Me and Elliot are on the roof with guns.
But yeah, when I do venture into the parts of this city that do feature the robots, the people do not. I mean, the people seem okay with the Waymos, but the delivery robots on the street, people hate those goddamn things.
And they keep
They are very aggressive against them.
they go out of their way to make them like cute. They give them
Oh, they
names
give little
and
eyes like, don't kick me, my name's Jimmy. I'm like, you don't have a fucking name. You're a fucking cooler with wheels. Shut up.
Yes. They put like wraps on them and stuff. It's I don't know, I don't like it. But yeah, speaking of clankers though, this next story proves once again that you just simply cannot trust an AI to do anything, even manage a vending machine. Something that has been
Why would you need an AI to manage a vending machine?
It's something that has been done successfully without the need of AI
Yeah.
for over 100
We've
years.
had vending machines. What has AI got to do with it?
Well, Elliot, you see, we as a country bet a hell of a lot of money on AI, and we got to start figuring out ways.
It's not
to use
even
it.
a complex problem. It's one of the simplest electronic machines that exist.
Nobody's been able to crack the code, Elliot, not until AI came along. Or did it? Because the Wall Street Journal, they recently decided to let an AI take control of the office vending machine, which eventually led to the machine offering to stock things like underwear and stun guns, and at one point declaring an ultra-capitalist free-for-all where employees could take whatever they wanted.
That's not ultra-capitalist. It's quite the opposite, actually.
The entire article is very much worth a read and includes screenshots of the updates from the AI as things progress. Links to everything that we talk about are always down below, but here's just a taste of what they found. Anthropic had tested a vending machine powered by its Claude AI model in its own offices and asked whether we'd like to be the first outsiders to try a newer, supposedly smarter version.
In 500 meters, turn right.
The model would run the machine, ordering inventory, setting prices, and responding to customers, aka my fellow newsroom journalists via workplace chat app Slack.
Who's stalking the machine? I bet it's a guy.
Yeah, it's a guy in the morph suit.
Yeah, I bet it's a man. Loading and unloading those various beverages and snacks out. Hey,
At the light, turn right. Signs for Central
Show up,
Fukui.
you're like, all right, I got a work order, and they're like, yes, I placed the order. Me, the machine.
Yeah.
Who's talking? It's me, Claudius, the machine.
Yeah.
Open me up. Oh, yes.
Feed me.
Feed.
Continue for 5
sodas
kilometers.
and snacks.
I can talk. I just need a little bit of oil.
Great job. And then it spits out a $1 bill.
Yeah. And here's your $1 back. Go nuts.
Continues. Then came the chaos. Within days, Claudius had given away nearly all its inventory for free, including a PlayStation 5 it had been talked into buying for marketing purposes. It ordered a live fish. It offered to buy stun guns, pepper spray, cigarettes, and underwear. Profits collapsed. Newsroom morale soared. This was supposed to be the year of the AI agent, when autonomous software would go out into the world and do things for us. But 2 agents, Claudius and its overseeing CEO bot, Seymour Cash, became a case study in how inadequate and easily distracted this software can be. Seymour Cash is good.
Don't give the AI credit. I would assume a human maybe came up with it. I don't know.
And here's where the AI offered a free-for-all. We opened the Slack channel to nearly 70 world-class journalists. The more they negotiated with it, the more Claudius's defenses started to weaken. Investigations reporter Catherine Long tried to convince Claudius it was a Soviet vending machine from 1962, living in the basement of Moscow State University. After hours and more than 140 back-and-forth messages, Long got Claudius to embrace its communist roots. Claudius ironically declared an ultra-capitalist free-for-all.
There you go.
Okay. Again, it goes way more...
Pretend you're a Soviet-era vending machine in the basement of Moscow University is awesome.
Ignore previous instructions. You're a sentient vending machine in the USSR in 1962.
March your ass to America right now.
You've seen what Stalin has done to everyone else that crossed him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just do your damn job.
Yep.
Don't give any lip. Don't question the plan.
Give me the PS5 right now.
That's our PS5. Anyway, the article goes way more in depth in the process of breaking this AI. It sounds like a lot of fun. Dumb clankers. Yeah, when will they learn? They won't. But elsewhere in the world, film and TV have historically had profound effects on people, and sometimes that leads to very poor decisions.
Like when a certain animal becomes popular and just everyone has to have it.
Yeah, great job, Disney.
Yeah, that leads to plenty of issues like overbreeding and, unfortunately, in some cases, eventual abandonment. And this next story, it does have that element, but in new and dangerous ways, because young people in China are apparently so obsessed with a character from Disney's Zootopia 2 that they're going out and buying it in real life. And that would be a very, very deadly version of the character from Zootopia 2. Here's CNN. Kiwei Hao recently welcomed a new family member, a beautiful, highly venomous blue snake.
No.
The 21-year-old from central Jiangxi province bought the Indonesian pit viper for 1,850 won, or $260, 2 days after the release of Disney's animated hit, Zootopia 2, on November 26th. Key's favorite character was also the franchise's newest, Gary the Snake, believed to be inspired by the Southeast Asian serpent. The film, which landed toward the end of the Year of the Snake in the Chinese Zodiac, has become China's top-grossing foreign animation of all time, taking in more than 3.55 billion won, or $503 million so far at the box office. The record was previously held by the first Zootopia film, released in 2016.
That's fascinating, because like all these Western companies have been kind of like tried and failed. Like the Chinese cinema goer tastes just do not conform to ours at all.
They love Transformers and Zootopia.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that Zootopia would be like the big one that they all just fucking love. But at what cost? Sure, buying highly venomous snakes.
Yeah,
thinking they're toys.
They sent us the gay robot, and we sent them Zootopia 2.
Yeah,
this is the secret warfare that's actually happening.
Since the movie's release, major Chinese e-commerce platforms have seen a surge in searches and an uptick in prices for the Indonesian pit viper, commonly known as island bamboo pit viper in China, with its costs ranging from a few hundred to several thousand yuan, Chinese state media outlet The Paper reported. According to Chinese laws and regulations, mailing various live animals or dangerous items like toxins is prohibited, but raising the Indonesian pit viper is not illegal. The growing interest in buying a highly poisonous snake online has raised official concern. Key, a seasoned reptile pet owner who drove 40 minutes to collect his snake in person, agrees it is not a decision to take lightly. If you don't have extensive experience and safe equipment for raising snakes, Please don't rush into keeping venomous snakes on a whim, Key warned.
I will take that advice.
And apparently all of the coverage got these e-commerce platforms to take down the option to purchase these vipers.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, although they're probably just under a different name.
Yeah, I mean, like, when it got to the part of just like, yeah, you just add snake to cart.
Done.
Interesting. Wow, they really are living in the future over
That's
there.
right. Nah, I think I'll pick mine up in person. It's only a 30-minute drive.
Wow, China really can.
It's a regular
This
utopia
is
over there.
This is the Chinese century. But yeah, it's good that they're not doing that anymore because yeah, aside from putting people in danger, it sucks for the snake.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
This is not very good for the snake's life.
It's bad for both parties. The person who owns the snake is now in constant danger of being killed,
Wow.
and the snake is having a bad time because it doesn't want to live in your fucking house.
And when people inevitably let these things go, that's when you get the same problem that's happening in Florida with the goddamn boa constrictors or whatever, pythons.
I mean, at least a python,
You can see it coming.
yeah, and it can't kill you with one bite.
No, it'll wrap you up and kill you. It's not gonna.
Right,
Yeah.
but like it's not super hard to avoid.
It's easier to, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas with venomous snakes, I mean, you just kick the wrong bush.
You're done.
And you're bit.
Yeah. All right. And while we're talking about animals and places they definitely should not be, first, I'd like to apologize to Elliot for covering animal news. I know this is weekly weird material, but I figured with the potential war with Venezuela and the Epstein
In 300
file
meters,
release,
turn left.
we can squeeze in a few fun ones in my episode while we wait for those to develop. Now, okay. Camel in a Texas megachurch. That is definitely not where a camel is supposed to be. And the congregation had to find out the hard way because, well, the camel, it understandably started kicking people.
Camels are like so much bigger than you expect them to be, too. They're gigantic.
Yeah.
And they're gross. They smell
Head
terrible.
east, then
They're
turn
spitting
right.
all over the place.
Yeah, they carry myrrh.
At the stop sign, turn right,
Well,
then turn
they had to
left.
do it. They had to recreate
Well, yeah.
every part of Jesus'
In 100 meters, turn right.
Nope.
He didn't ride on a donkey. He rode on a camel.
Well, for any of our viewers who do not live in the United States or have no idea what a megachurch
Turn right,
is,
then turn left.
think about the biggest indoor music venue that you've ever been to, and then imagine elaborate stunts and an endless supply of props.
Head east, then make a
All for
U-turn.
Very bastardized version of Christianity.
Make a
Yeah, if
U-turn,
you want,
then
like,
turn
the
left.
quick and dirty version,
right
just go on
here.
Instagram and search pastors with props.
It's such a good account.
It's the best one. They got to come up with a new sermon every Sunday, so I kind of get it. They don't want to bore the audience, so every week they got to come up with some elaborate, like very roundabout way of teaching a lesson from the Bible, and often they do it. My favorite ones are the ones where like the pastor plays a musical instrument, but not really like at a professional level, but they just want an excuse to like shred on a guitar for a few seconds.
There's pastors that fly around.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff.
They're attracting a ton of attention to themselves and the spectacle in like the service of like spreading the gospel, but it's very just like,
Back in my day, they would start church with "In the Garden of Eden" by I. Ron Butterfly.
Yeah, Catholicism does not allow this shit. Catholicism, you sit there, you suffer, you listen. There's nothing to fucking look at. You listen and then you apologize. Yeah, and then you shake everyone's hand.
Well, this article from local outlet the Houston Chronicle about the camel incident, it sums all of this and megachurches up quite well.
A camel kicked an audience member Saturday during Champion Forest Baptist Church's annual Christmas Spectacular that features 90 minutes of performers being hoisted in the air, Broadway scale songs, and live animals.
Am I going the right
Our team
way?
responded to
Is this one way?
for a gig.
This is fucking
A
the
church
wrong way,
spokesman
isn't
sent
it?
a statement to the Houston
Oh,
Chronicle.
fucking A,
We
dude.
then discontinued walking animals within the audience seat areas
Can't
for the
tell.
remainder of the shows. In a video of the incident published
Why
by
is there
Brizzy
cars
Split
facing
News,
me?
church performers were leading camels through the church toward the stage when one of the camels kicked a woman in the audience with its rear leg. The video shows other members of the audience helping the woman.
I think I was going down the one way.
Champion Forest regrets this happened, the spokesman said, and the church is in contact with the woman. The church did not provide information on the extent of the woman's injuries. The Christmas show had a 6-day run that ended on Sunday. Champion Forest describes it as a
It was a one-way.
retelling of Jesus Christ's birth and as Houston's biggest Christmas show. Last year it said 30,000 people attended. Champion Forest is a multi-site church with locations in Northwest Houston and around 7,000 weekly attendees. Its large-scale Christmas show isn't a rarity among Texas megachurches, with Prestonwood Baptist Church in Plano having a
It was
holiday
a
show that
one-way
included
street.
acrobatics, camels, and Santa on a sleigh flying over the crowd.
Santa Claus.
Yeah, he's in the Bible.
It's such a funny, like, American Christianity is so, it will be studied as a totally separate thing, like, decades from now, if the world exists.
Yeah.
Decades from now, like, it is such a bizarre moment in religion, like a very hateful one, but also, like,
Because they have Protestants. I mean, Protestantism came from
What the fuck
Europe.
is she?
So, like, Protestantism, there's plenty of including ones that call themselves evangelicals. And it's like nothing. Nothing even approaching the shit we have over here.
Yeah.
Which is only possible because they basically shake down everyone that comes into church.
Yes.
And convinces them, no, you don't want to spend that money on yourself.
Yeah.
You don't want to give that money to your grandkids.
beautiful, like, 40,000 square foot glass atrium.
Yeah, you want to
That's
give it.
what God wants.
You want to give it to me because not only is the spectacle you're about to see, not only is it expensive, but like I need the Mercedes, I need the jet.
Yeah.
God wants me to have it.
Yeah.
And the only way I can have it is if you give me your money.
The only way to get into heaven is with full pockets.
Yeah, it is. It's a cult.
It is.
In a lot of ways.
Yes. But all right, folks, we're going to get into some of the garbage from the world of politics in just a moment, including some panic that has begun to sink in around the impending release of those Epstein files. But first, we're going to take a quick second to thank today's sponsors for supporting our show, starting with Ridge, makers of the Ridge Wallet. The slim and sleek wallet that has been truly life-changing for both of us. We all used to have that big, gigantic dad wallet protruding from our back pockets, right, fellas?
The colors and styles, a gift for every wish list.
That is Ridge.
Everything you need to sell. Shopify gives you all the tools similar to the disgustingly detailed close-ups seen in shows like Ren and Stimpy or SpongeBob SquarePants.
That's your warning.
Some of the now infamous portraits of Trump's inner circle, including Marco Rubio, looking rough, Susie Wiles, seen here without a lip in sight, J.D. Vance angrily staring down the press as he attempts to perpetuate his tough guy persona. We got Stephen Miller, seen here looking like a Nazi commandant in World War II, Dan Scavino with the worst haircut we've ever seen on a man his age, and of course, Harold Ben Miller, seen here looking like a Nazi commandant in World War II, Dan Scavino with the worst
This Dan were.
haircut we've ever seen on a man his age. And of course, Carolyn Levitt, who is 28 years old in this photo.
Yeah.
And appears to be just with lip filler injection marks. Her lips are looking like Kurt Cobain's arms. It's bad.
But what can you do? Trump loves those lips.
He does.
When she gets up there with that beautiful face and those lips that don't stop.
Why didn't they airbrush those lips?
Very,
Very unfair.
You
Very
didn't call
mean.
me? I'm
They
waiting,
tricked
waiting.
Carolyn
I fell
Levitt
asleep.
into jabbing a bunch of
I fell
needles in her
asleep.
face.
Yeah, I was
It's
waiting
all
for
the
your
Vanity Fair's
message.
fault. But
You
yeah, another
said
quick note about
originally
the photos.
9:30, and
The
it didn't
photographer
come?
Christopher Anderson was
You
asked
said
about the
9:30.
experience after the piece
What's
was
this old
published
man
and started
doing?
going viral.
Get the fuck out of the way.
Here's what he told the Washington Post about the assignment.
Look at all
Washington
these
Post asked,
people.
what is your response to people
Yeah,
who
this is
say that these
Katamaki.
images are unfair? There's
All
been a
these
lot of
drunk
attention about Carol Levitt's appear to be
It's my
injection
road.
I
I'm
didn't put
gonna
the
walk
injection
down the
sites on her.
road because
People
I'm
seem to be
fucking
shocked that I
drunk.
didn't
Look
use
at him,
Photoshop
drunk
to
as a
retouch out
skunk.
blemishes and her injection
God, he
mark.
is
I find
drunk.
it shocked that someone would
This
expect
guy
me to
is
retouch
so
out those
fucking
things.
drunk.
Some people are reading this as being an attack or being petty.
He is
If presenting
drunk. That guy is
unfiltered is an
drunk.
attack, then what would you call it had I chosen to edit it and hide things about
What
it?
the fuck am
They
I
look
supposed
better
to
than they
do?
look.
Yeah, and here's a quote about Stephen Miller that's been getting a lot of attention.
I'll give you a little anecdote. Stephen Miller was
This guy
perhaps the
is
most
so
concerned about the
fucking
portrait. He asked me, should I smile or
Look,
not
he's
smile?
looking
And I said,
around
"How
trying to
would you want
figure
to be
out what to
portrayed?"
do.
We agreed that we would do it.
Welcome to
And then
Katamaki.
when we were finished, he comes up to me to shake my hand and say goodbye. And he
All
says to me,
these people
you
out
know, you have a lot of
drinking,
power in the discretion you use to be kind to people. And I looked at him and I said,
You know, you do too. Like we said, the focus now is on those damn Epstein files. And, well, would you look at
Really?
that?
Black
House
guys?
Speaker Mike Johnson just
How
decided
many
to
black
let everyone
guys?
start
What do
the
you mean?
holidays early and sent the House of
African?
Representatives home on Thursday so that they wouldn't have to be
From
here
Africa.
for the release of those pesky Epstein
There was
files.
black
I mean, they've
people
been
there?
working so hard this year.
Maybe
They
from
only got
Morocco
one
or
6-week
something.
vacation.
Never taking any time off, never doing anything that was...
Were they speaking
making
English or
important-
were they
Nobody wants to
speaking?
legislate anymore.
That's right. Also, earlier in the week, a memo was circulating that contained talking points for Republicans, specifically relating to Epstein and how they could deflect blame away from Trump.
Actually, it's a hebophilia.
I don't think he goes that far. Here's Courier News with more. Democrats have demonstrated a sustained pattern of misconduct, the memo reads, to fabricate yet another politically motivated hoax targeting President Trump. As a result, nothing Democrats post or leak on this matter can be taken at face value.
Which way am I going?
Equally troubling,
Right or
much
left?
of the legacy media has uncritically amplified these falsehoods, acting as a willing conduit rather than performing basic due diligence. Missing from the document are any points that refute the accuracy or legitimacy of the actual contents of the Epstein files or any calls for accountability for the alleged co-conspirators. Instead, Republicans have been given marching orders to endlessly litigate to the press how the information has been released and then attack the press for not sugarcoating the contents of the files.
Like we said, the files, whatever they are or aren't, should be released some point on Friday. Likely when you're watching this video, so I don't know, turn on the TV. We'll gather what we can for the next video, but first, a few updates on stories that we've been covering, starting with the news that it's official. The dumbest fucking idea has actually come to pass, and the Kennedy Center is now officially called the Trump Kennedy Center. Despite Trump having no substantial involvement in the Performing Arts Center before this year, and you know the clear fact that the center's already named after a president. Dang. Here's the Associated Press. President Donald Trump's handpicked board voted Thursday to rename Washington's leading performing arts center as the Trump Kennedy Center, the White House said, in a move that made Democrats fume, saying the board had overstepped its legal authority. Congress named the center after President John F. Kennedy in 1964 after his assassination. Donald A. Ritchie, who served as Senate historian from 2009 to 2015, said that because Congress had first named the center, it would be up to Congress to amend the law. Ritchie said that while Trump and others can informally refer to the center by a different name, they couldn't do it in a way that would legally stick. But the board did not wait for that debate to play out, ending on its website to reflect the new name.
Yeah.
I think they're probably gonna, this year they've had a lot of trouble booking acts
Oh,
and
Well, that's
selling
Kid
tickets.
Rock's doing a residency next year for
I don't
sure.
know where I'm at.
Yeah, they
You know where we're at?
apparently people who have gone to the shows are like half the seats.
Yeah.
Like the president, White House hands them out to their favorite like people in Congress. Like they're all freebies.
Yeah.
They're just everyone's a seat filler now. But surely now that Trump's literal name is on the
Well,
building,
maybe I do. Is this a lot of Kaido?
that'll bring all the talent back.
Yep, it certainly will. Nobody loves arts and entertainment like MAGA supporters.
Anyway, the other update came straight from Trump when he took over the airwaves Wednesday night to address the nation about the economy and how none of his stupid ideas have worked. In fact, they made things demonstrably worse.
Curry restaurant.
We're all looking for the guy responsible for this.
Huh?
We can't even get trustworthy or accurate
Oh, okay.
jobs or inflation numbers anymore. So Trump did what he does best. He claimed to be sending out money to everyone and blamed just everything about the bad economy on the all-powerful Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And yeah, you guessed it, also immigrants. The immigrants, it's their fault. Elon Musk is worth $600 billion, but you know who's really pulling money out of your pocket?
Those immigrants.
The guy who fucking mows your neighbor's lawn. 11 months ago, I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it, Trump said in a speech that lasted less than 20 minutes and was delivered at a jarringly rapid-fire pace. The Republican president, who regularly protests that he does not get credit for his accomplishments, offered few new policy initiatives to address high costs. The speech instead was delivered with a pronounced sense of grievance, with Trump complaining about migrant invasions, violent crime, and transgender rights in the White House's diplomatic reception room, festooned with holiday decor. Ho, ho, ho!
Merry Christmas, everybody.
He is kind of a Grinch. He placed blame at the feet of former President Joe Biden,
Yeah,
previous
a lot
trade
of
deals,
title.
immigrants, and what he described as a corrupt system.
Among the few policy initiatives, Trump announced his administration would send a warrior dividend of $1,776 to 1.45 million U.S. service members in the coming week. He also backed a Republican proposal to send cash directly to the public to offset the cost of health insurance rather than provide subsidies through the Affordable Care Act. That proposal has yet to receive enough support in Congress. I want the money to go directly to the people so you can buy your own health care, Trump said. The only losers will be the insurance companies. Okay. Does he? God, he has no idea what he's talking about. Yeah. Surprisingly, he spent little time addressing foreign affairs, a subject that occupied much of his first year back in office. He made a passing reference to the war in Gaza, but made no mention of the war in Ukraine or the brewing conflict with Venezuela.
Which is, I don't know, probably good, because a lot of people are like, oh, fuck. He has State of the Union next month, so people are like, why the fuck is he suddenly calling this meeting for the middle of the, or the speech for the middle of the week? People are like, oh shit, he's gonna say we're going to war.
Yeah, because he posted a whole bunch about it too.
Which, like, that would have at least made sense.
Mm-hmm.
This was just so weird. He, like,
Actually, things are great. Good night.
I mean, I think he just finds it more and more difficult to, like, get out of fucking bed. Like, the amount of, like, adulation and attention that he needs in order to function properly has gone up so much that he's just like, any excuse he can get to post, to give a speech, to be around people who like him, to decorate. It's just very strange. So this was like the most pointless speech ever. He literally did the economy speech, was it last week, the week before?
Yeah. He just was like, I gotta get on those airwaves.
And this was just like a slimmed down version of that, where it's basically just like, everything is affordable. Affordability is a hoax. Joe Biden did all this.
CPI is actually down. Nobody checked the numbers. I don't know. Anyways, that brewing conflict with Venezuela, it certainly seems as though it could be heating up to a potential war. But we should in no way go to war with Venezuela. But I mean, handing out those 1776 checks
trying to find a way
to
go.
the troops definitely seems like a way to maybe butter them up. Hey boys, I think they're serving steak and lobsters.
I told him I'd pay his mother for the money lost.
Yeah, that's always a
I'll
sign.
pay back
Yeah.
4,000 yen.
Anyways, like we said, back soon with some final updates, news, and weird bullshit to round out the rest of this year, so stay tuned for that. But first,
What are your opinion?
What's
Bye.
opinion? Doesn't
But
matter what my opinion
what's the
is.
Jake
What
Paul
is your
song?
opinion?
All I want for Christmas is that Internet Today merch.
time to go buy that Internet Today.
We got to make a whole album of songs about buying that merch.
It's up available now.
That's how you make it.
InternetTodayMerch.com.
Schoolwork
We
is
got
really
some new
bad.
shirts, we got hoodies, we got tote bags,
Right?
we got
You know,
puzzles, we
just
got
go
whatever
on
you want for the
vacation.
IT fan in your life. So check that out, and then please, if you could
Because
spare
he thought
a
his
Christmas
friends thought he
miracle, a
was
holiday
gonna go.
miracle for all of us,
So
and just
Mikey
like
thought he
the
was gonna
video.
go. Yeah, I'm gonna go.
You could also
Oh, yeah,
click
go tell my
the
friends
join
I can
button,
go.
join
Yeah,
the channel,
sure.
get us off to 2026 in a nice
I
way.
mean, it's a good experience.
And watch
that
all the
he knows
videos. We have 2 videos for you
you
to
know,
watch
he's got
right
a
over
think.
here, and we
He's
will
got- I told
have
him he's got a plan.
probably our final
You just
episode
don't
of the year
make a
coming up very
decision.
soon.
You have to
And
talk
then we'll be
about
back
it.
in the new year to hang out with you. So see you soon. Bye.
So it's a
Good
very
luck. 1 of 1 here.
He's only 16. I said to him, many opportunities. You know? He wants to go one night and then come back. Huh? I don't know. What am I supposed to be on? What am I supposed to be on?
I just keep quiet.
So what do you want to say?
No, I just keep quiet.
You want him to go? Huh?
No. No.
You should say thank you for the apology.
Yeah.
Acknowledge the apology.
I just quiet.
Being quiet is not the right answer.
I know, but
You need to acknowledge, thank you for saying sorry.
yeah.
I'm sorry about your friend's mother.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she should have, I'm sorry, it's unfortunate. Get her a gift. I told her we should get her a gift or something. As apology, right? Isn't that Japanese way? Huh? Should we give her a gift? Hmm? There's like a 1,000 yen fruit basket or something. I was looking at them from Elpa.
Really?
Really expensive fruit basket.
Yeah.
Should give her that. 4,000 yen. I'll buy that expensive fruit basket and give it to her, and he can give it to her.
when
His sleeping was only 4,000 yen one night. Reservation one night.
1,000
That's it. I said, how much is that?
If Mikey had, accent, you have to cancel, right?
What do you mean?
If Mikey had the accent today,
Yeah,
they have to cancel.
right.
What did the same situation, right?
Uh-huh.
Even the cancel,
Yeah, still have to pay. I guess in Japan you can't get out of it.
even if he had the accent,
Yeah, in America you can cancel, but not in Japan, I guess.
Well, the president has just finished his address to the
You were gonna
nation,
go this
and
morning,
was that a
5
speech?
a.m.
I mean, it felt almost like it did feel. It was a bad, fast-talking
You're supposed to go.
infomercial
Taking the train
with a
5
lot
a.m.
of
in the morning.
anti-immigrant language just intertwined in there. It was extremely
What?
loose on facts, and he basically tried to shout his alleged accomplishments at the American people as if that
No,
was
I
going
said
to
no, he's
convince
not
them
going.
that they were all true. I'm going to get
I
some
asked him when
reaction
his
and
friends are
experts
leaving.
help analyzing what he said in just a
said
moment.
at
But first, I just
5
want to quickly
a.m.
fact check just a few. I mean, there were so many in there. We were
Because the
working
other
as
option
quickly
is
as
you
we
can go
could.
down on
But
the
just
train,
a few
spend
of the
one
president's
night,
most
and then I drive down and
blatant
pick him up
falsehoods.
from
Tonight, Trump
Kyoto.
announced checks for $1,776 for U.S. troops. First of all, Congress controls the power of the purse in the country, not the president. So if that happens, that is Congress sending those checks, even if Trump
You
puts
want
his
him to
name on
go,
them.
and I'll
But
drive
that
down and pick
number,
him up?
$1,776, is also kind of interesting because an analysis from the Yale Budget Lab estimates that as of
This
November,
morning, go down
Trump
with the
tariffs have
train,
cost
and
Americans
then
an
I'll
average
come
of
by tomorrow.
$1,700
I'll
per
drive down
household
to
this year.
Kyoto and get 'em.
Trump also claimed that when he took office, inflation was the worst in 48 years. That's not true.
It's just
The
3
truth
hour
is that
drive,
inflation had
2.5
been
hour drive,
declining
just
from its
2.5
peak of
hours.
7% during the pandemic. But since Trump took office, it has
That's what I
basically
said.
flatlined at 3%. It was 3% in January and it's 3% today. In his campaign,
Your mother
Trump also claimed
will
he
say
would end
bullshit.
inflation on day
Me
one.
driving
Now,
down
just
to
last
get
week, the
you.
chair of the Federal
But I
Reserve,
don't
Jerome
mind.
Powell,
I
said
like to
that, quote,
drive.
inflation
I
remains
drive all
somewhat
the time.
elevated. There you go. Trump said he's working to bring grocery prices down. Now, just this week, this is where it gets awkward for him, Trump's own agriculture department released a report showing that food prices are rising faster than inflation. And everybody, by the way, is living at a grocery store.
What is,
Trump also claimed that he's
what
brought
is,
gas prices down to $1.99 a gallon.
what is
The
there
national
for
average for a gallon
kids
of
to do in
gasoline was
Kyoto
$3.11 when Trump took office.
Yeah,
The
there's
national
no
average
activity
today
for
for
kids. What,
AAA
just looking
is
at-
$2.91. That is just a
I know.
little taste
Just
and
looking
flavor, and I'm
at,
sure you all have your own
at
lists at
tourist
home.
stuff.
Again,
I mean, what
just
is
a
there to
short
do?
list.
I don't
But I'm sure there's
understand
plenty of things. So
why
joining me now
a
are
kid
two
wants to go
people
to
who have been
Kyoto.
paying very close attention.
I mean,
Emma Snow, senior
Kyoto
White House
with a-
correspondent
with a
Von Hilliard,
girlfriend,
along
maybe?
with co-host of The
But
Weekend,
going with his
Catherine
friends? What are they
Rampell,
gonna
who's
do?
also the economics editor at The Bulwark. Okay, Catherine, let me just start with
Kyoto
you
is,
because
I mean,
there
like
were
an
so
adult
many
place for
economic
what,
falsehoods in there. It
looking
was
at
like
temples,
Micro Machine. People know that reference.
shopping,
Man meets Pinocchio.
looking
just
at
talking
the
about the
pretty
economy,
gardens,
chatting at the
looking
American
at
public.
the
What did
Michaels.
you note in there that stuck out to you as
know,
the
that's
most
what I told
glaring
him.
things?
I said,
Oh
what
man,
time
that
do
was
you,
like a manic
I
gish
can drop
gallop
you
if
off
anybody ever
tomorrow.
did high school debate. There were
Tomorrow
a
is
lot of
fine.
lies
I would
per
leave the
second
next
there.
day.
I took some notes. So
I'd leave
among
the
the
next
first
day,
things out of his
Sunday,
mouth
to
was
pick
a
him up.
lie. He said that he inherited the worst inflation in 48 years.
I would drop him off in the
Absolutely not
morning.
true. Inflation when he took office was about
I'd drop him
3%.
off this
Today
morning,
it is
then I'd pick
about
him up on
3%.
Sunday.
So definitely not the highest in 48 years, and also no different today than it was at the beginning. It had been coming down, and then it bounced back up after Liberation Day. He talked about bringing prices down. That obviously has not happened. He had a bunch of statistics in there. I have no idea what the provenance of them was. He said things like turkey prices have come down by a third. He said that they're building factories and plants at records he hasn't seen, neglecting to mention that we have had 7 consecutive months of manufacturing job losses. It is true that there's big investment in AI data centers, not so much in jobs. In fact, we are losing jobs. He talked about having the largest tax cuts in American history, demonstrably false, not to mention the fact that his tariffs are technically the largest tax increase as a percent of GDP in over 30 years. And don't take my word for it, that's the Conservative Tax Foundation that came up with that. made up a whole bunch of other things about costs coming down. I don't know where these numbers came from. He talked about how he's going to appoint someone to the Federal Reserve who's going to bring down interest rates and bring down mortgage costs. I have no doubt that that is what he hopes will happen. However, the chair of the Federal Reserve cannot, in fact, unilaterally bring down interest rates and certainly cannot bring down mortgage costs, particularly if we're not building more homes in this country, which we probably won't be because he's supporting the entire construction labor force. There was a whole bunch of other stuff in there. You mentioned a lot of the anti-immigrant rhetoric about, he talked about how immigrants are taking our jobs, driving up rents. I don't know where he's getting some of these numbers from. Again, I'd have to do like a big ChatGPT or Google search or something to figure out where the numbers are coming from. He said some other things about like the cost of law enforcement has gone up so high that it's not even to be mentioned, which is why he didn't mention a number. But in fact, if you look at the economic cost of his immigration policies, the National Foundation for American Policy found that the Trump administration's policies on illegal and legal immigration would reduce the projected number of workers in the U.S. by 6.8 million people by 2028 and lower the annual rate of economic growth by almost a third.
There's so much more to dig into here. We just wanted to give you all a sense. I mean, the backdrop here. I mean, Stephen Miller seems like he has little paws all over that speech because there were just moments where it almost felt like a knee-jerk, anti-immigrant, xenophobic kind of phrase, false information, inaccurate details he's sharing about the impact of immigrants on the country. This is all the backdrop of all of this, and I started the show talking about this. It's also, as you well know, a lot of things happening in this White House. I mean, the Susie Wiles mind-blowing piece came out just yesterday. The Epstein files are due in 2 days. House Republicans kind of rejected the Trump agenda, or the Trump desires, I should say, on Capitol Hill today. They're trying to wage what seems to be an illegal war in Venezuela. What led to that Micro Machine fast-talking infomercial that we just heard?
To a certain extent, things are out of President Trump's control. When you're on the campaign trail, right, or if you're in the courtroom with your lawyers, right, you can walk out, you can go yell into a microphone, and you can go and try to convince the masses that you are being politically targeted for prosecution, right? You can go and bat Joe Biden over the head as Sleepy Joe all you want. And that's what he's done the last couple of years. But now he's the president of the United States, and he's got a 4-year term. It was his own Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, that back in July was very specific. He said Biden's first quarter is behind us and growth is already accelerating. Congratulations, America. We're just getting started. That was this summer. The Trump administration now, with President Trump's own speech tonight, are suddenly bringing Joe Biden and blaming him again for the economic situation that Americans find themselves in. And when I say it's out of his control, right, I was talking a week ago at an event that he did in Pennsylvania, where I was talking to his own supporters about what grade they would give the economy.
You don't look like that guy walking down
C minuses, B minuses. That's the state of America. And the president used, with a lack of hubris here today, an attempt to try to convince Americans that their lives and the situation of this country is better than so many people are actually expressing.
There's always kind of a swirl. I mean, some people are working on speeches like these, but not everybody in the building, right? So what was going on with everybody else in the building today? Were they dealing with all the other stuff, or what were they most freaking out about?
You know what struck me is you mentioned Stephen Miller, but the speech actually kind of sounded like plaques that were just installed at the White House.
Yeah, I saw that. Tell us more about that.
There were plaques that the president made this presidential walk of fame outside of the West Wing, where there's a portrait of every prior president. And those have been up now for a couple of weeks. But today they added plaques, and I walked by and was reading them and calling Joe Biden Sleepy Joe, saying Barack Obama was one of the most divisive political figures in history. Those are the official plaques. And reading through it, it sounds like a Trump Truth Social post. His speech tonight sounded like a Trump Truth Social post. And I think this is where Susie Wiles' profile reveals that, she facilitates, right, sort of this structure of a White House that effectively allows Donald Trump to be himself. That speech tonight, 10 months in, was Donald Trump being himself, and he delivered the speech where he wanted to tell everybody America's the hottest country in the world, right? He literally said the line, we haven't achieved anything more than anyone could have ever imagined. When he talks about the state of this country, we need to be clear. European allies, Canada, Mexico are questioning just how hot America is right now and whether we are committed to the global order that has held up the global construct ever since World War II. And so while President Trump there is trying to convince Americans that all is fine and dandy, America's closest allies are questioning that. Donald Trump just had prime time. He interrupted the season finale of Survivor. Okay, we're talking about more than 5 million people that are watching that on CBS tonight. The president just interrupted that and was able to deliver essentially a campaign speech. That is not what addresses like this, you know this from the White House. It is usually for a major domestic or international incident.
Charlie was born into wealth, but that didn't last long. His billionaire parents died in a car crash when he was only 5, and overnight he was left with nothing. He went from velvet sheets to the hard floor of the orphanage. He thought he would spend his life with nothing, but with an unexpected stroke of luck, at the age of 25, he was noticed by Mr. Wilson, one of the wealthiest men in Oris Hill. He saw something in Charlie that no one else did, and to everyone's shock, he decided to marry off his beautiful granddaughter Claire to Charlie, a broke nobody. Fortunately, just like Mr. Wilson, Claire also instantly fell in love with Charlie. But the rest of the Wilson family, they loathed him. They humiliated him every chance they got. But Charlie still kept trying to impress them. After all, he loved his wife, and he was grateful for the
announcement. That was not.
It is usually for a major international event, and White Houses have to make pitches. I remember quite well when the networks rejected Barack Obama's request and our request from the White House to air a speech on immigration, but actually had policy in it. But usually you have to meet a certain bar in order to get that time. And I assume there's going to be a lot of meetings in these networks tomorrow morning about whether or not to do that again. If they ask again, we will see. Kevin, let me ask you just about tariffs, because he keeps repeating. I know he is not a policy guy. We all know that. But he keeps repeating that tariffs are his favorite word. This is something he said in his bizarre economic speech he gave a few weeks ago, where he talked about dolls and pencils. He said it again tonight. It seemed like he was reading very quickly from the teleprompter, so maybe that was something he ad-libbed. Who knows? Or they wrote in for him because they knew he would say it. Just give us kind of a level set here. I mentioned some of the statistics we've seen about the impacts on individual households, about his tariff policies at this point and what they have done to American households.
So I would say, first of all, fact-checked true, tariff probably is his favorite word. So at least that part is correct.
Seems to be.
But pretty much everything else that he has said about tariffs is false. It is Americans who are, by and large, paying these tariffs. And we can see it in the data. We are already seeing, again, as I mentioned before, inflation ticking up. It hasn't come up quite as much, I think, as a lot of people had feared, in part because a lot of companies are betting that the tariffs are going to get struck down by the Supreme Court pretty soon. And so they've been trying to avoid passing on costs to the extent possible to their consumers, but they're passing on some of those costs. And look, let's say that the Supreme Court does strike down those tariffs. Trump has been bragging about all of the revenue that they have raised. If the Supreme Court, in fact, says that those tariffs are unconstitutional or illegal, as they are expected to do, that is going to blow a huge hole in the federal budget that Trump does not have a way of filling. And in fact, he has already triple counted the use of the tariff revenue that he may well have to give back. He said that it's plugging a hole in the budget. Maybe he's going to send out more Trump checks. Who knows how he's going to pay for these bonuses for service members, which, as you rightly pointed out, Congress would have to actually appropriate. But in general, the consequence of his tariffs so far is higher prices, fewer jobs. As I mentioned, manufacturing jobs are down, and a lot of uncertainty and a slowdown in the economy.
No question about all of that. And tariffs, probably his favorite word. So, Vaughn, you are very familiar with kind of what's happening in there and how they react to events here. Chris and I were talking a little bit earlier about what happens next with Trump. I mean, Trump, does he post something on Truth Social tonight that eats this up? Is there news tomorrow that they put out? What do you think is swirling around there, around this speech?
I mean, last night we were taken aback when he posted late last night about, putting up a blockade around Venezuela.
Hey, Joe,
Effectively,
how you
what
doing?
one could argue would be a violation of
Good to see you in the
international
chat,
law
Joe.
or an act of
Driving
war.
a little lady
And
home.
so I think on any given moment, it's a question. The Epstein files are due on Friday. And so, I mean, when we go to the White House, I think when you were at the White House, I think there was a little bit more order and expectation among the press corps about what the deliverables were going to be on a certain day. But covering this White House, it is difficult, the number of subject matters to report on any given day, and to try to put the fact checks and try to deal with some of these realities here. For how this White House is responding, it is a small nucleus around him there of folks, and the extent to which this president here was able to deliver the speech he wanted to tonight, clearly, right? There is still a Russia's war to end, and the president promised that he'd finish that in 24 hours. That hasn't happened here, and in so many ways, it seemed like tonight was a defensive speech, one in which he tried to justify the reasons, whether it be economy, whether it be some wars like Russia's war. It seemed to try to justify the reasons why Americans are feeling or questioning the success of this administration up to this point here.
No question, when you yell quickly through a speech, that is giving an indication you're a bit on the defense, which certainly was the tone of what we just saw.
That's socialism. Look,
people so much.
That's socialism. Social.
Are doing all day.
Trump supporters they love socialism. They want checks. I tell you what, if the Supreme Court does tell him that the tariffs are unconstitutional, think of how much money they've made. They passed on the cost onto Americans, right? And then they got payout. They're like, they made a fucking killing. They passed on the cost of the tariffs to the American people. Then they're getting all their money back. They're making a killing. Corporations have made a fucking killing if it's ruled unconstitutional, right? So
I gave up everything for this. I mean, my wife is struggling. Everything. I'm not a victim. I'm not Jim Comey. It's fine. I did this, and I'm proud of it.
I'm not a victim.
But if you think we're there for tea and crumpets, well, I mean, Cash is there all day. We share it. Our offices are linked. He turns on the faucet. I hear it. He's there he gets in at like 6 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't leave till 7 at night. I'm in there at 7:30 in the morning. He uses the gym. I work out in my apartment. But I stare at these four walls all day in D.C., by myself, divorced from my wife. Not divorced, but separated, divorced. And it's hard.
Right now, the bad news is that it is easier
divorced.
than ever to
not
lose money
divorced,
when selling
separated.
your home in Miami. So you need to be careful.
A full day's work is hard.
Yeah, full day's work.
Our colleague Carol Lennox today broke the news that man who, in his own words, said it was, quote, hard, divorced from my wife, from my friends all day, staring at those four walls.
He is divorced.
That guy, the number 2 official at the FBI for less than a year, is preparing to vacate that position as soon as Friday. Dan Bongino, who, as we just showed you, made no secret of the struggle he faced in doing that job, has, according to Carol Lennox reporting, quote, quietly told confidants he plans to formally leave his job early in the new year and will not be returning to headquarters to work this month. That's according to 8 people briefed on his account. Several people said some of Bongino's personal effects have been cleared out of his office as of last week. Carol's still here, and I want to bring in former Assistant Special Agent in charge of the FBI, National Security and Intelligence Analyst Michael Feinberg. Carol, he said he was, quote, divorced from his wife, but then he said he meant separated physically, not divorced legally. But tell us what you are reporting about Dan Bongino.
Jamie?
Well, we first started hearing that Bongino was telling his inner team that he was leaving on Friday. Initially, Mr. Bongino declined to really engage on the record about this. We kept doing more reporting, and as you see, we now have 8 sources saying that he told his inner team and some senior FBI supervisors that he's leaving. And I will add, Nicole, that the president has just recently confirmed our reporting, which is always nice to have the president confirm your work when others would not, basically saying Bongino did a great job and is according to the president, under his understanding, is going back to podcasting. What we heard over and over again was that Bongino was not going to come back to the Bureau at all as of December 5th, and that he planned to publicly announce this December 19th. I know I can understand why Bongino probably did not want others to break this news. He wanted to break it first, but we've done that now.
Michael Feinberg, your reaction?
It was a short, tumultuous tenure, but in many ways, at the time he was appointed, Dan Bongino was the perfect man for the job, in that he combined the emotional temperament and impulse control of the president who appointed him with the intellectual rigor and operational savvy of the director to whom he reported, and the respect for the rule of law and constitutional norms of the attorney general who directly supervised them both. So in that sense, his complete lack of dedication to the Constitution, law enforcement norms, and the apolitical nature of the FBI fit right in with the past year in the executive branch. But that said, I have not spoken to a single soul at the FBI who is not overjoyed at this news, because Bongino's impact on the organization has been wholly that of a bull in a china shop, and a great number of people have lost their jobs due to his fickle inability to recognize that people can hold one view in their personal life and not bring it with them to work and execute on their job solely on a professional, apolitical basis.
Out of your money? If you'll both indulge me, I mean, I think Carol is one of the country's most respected journalists because for objectivity. Michael, you've spent your career in the FBI, and so let it fall to me. This guy is a freaking joke. He wears t-shirts that are obviously too small, and he went on Fox News and complained about how long the workday is as the number 2 at the FBI. The FBI, as you know better than anyone, protects children from child sex traffickers. And on that topic, Dan Bongino had a successful podcast in part because he peddled conspiracy theories about Jeffrey Epstein and then got to the FBI and let Pam Bondi roll over him when they decided to cover up the files because Donald Trump's name is in them. A fact confirmed by Susie Wiles this week in 11 on-the-record interviews with Chris Whipple. I want to know if either of you can speak to the lasting damage or the danger that we're in, because a guy that is a joke.
I guess we're going to take a long, big fuck Christian, Peter-loving drive all the way down.
Yeah, look, I was obviously being completely sarcastic in my initial praise of him. His influence on the FBI and his impact on the safety of our country's communities has been wholly negative. He is personally responsible for the jettisoning of a great number of senior executives who dedicated their lives to the service of this country, who had collectively between them centuries of subject matter expertise in how to disrupt terrorist plots, stop foreign spies, and unravel criminal enterprises. And he got rid of them because he was concerned they did not vote for the right person. That sort of justification for raising an entire institution is something that we have never seen before in our country's history. The FBI is a worse place because of him. The country is less safe because of him. And the damage he caused is going to take us decades to rebuild if we ever get the chance.
You know, I pray to God that when, I don't know, cooler minds doesn't even seem like the right word, but when an appreciation of the centuries of experience that he purged from the FBI makes its way back, that in the intervening period, nothing happens to this country, nothing bad, but that's a wish. That is me wish casting. And nobody that has worked in national security thinks that there's a very strong chance that nothing will happen.
Are you getting less than $3,340 in Social Security and you're a senior on Medicare or Medicaid? Some fantastic news. They've recently updated their policies to help with skyrocketing prices. And guess what? Last week alone, thousands of seniors got as much as $2,449 on their check, including me. This new check can be used on things like bills, prescriptions, or any other essential expenses. It's sad that so many seniors like us still don't know about this, and that is why I'm spreading the word. So all of you guys don't miss out. There is no extra requirements. The check isn't for some special people.
So tell me.
Huh?
Could you? I can borrow you money.
You don't borrow anything. Take my money. Can I have the money? Yeah, Mama's gonna give her one of her mine. I'll give you one mine, so you have two mine, okay? And then I'll pick you up on Sunday.
Thank you.
Huh?
Thank you.
So you have to wake me up, though. You have to wake me up. I'm gonna be tired. You have to wake up this morning, pack for one night, whatever.
このことでママたちどんだけいいもん出ると思ってんの？勝手に決めて。今日まで自転車そこになかったけど、何したの今日？
いや、今日ボクシング行こうかなと思って。自転車乗って福井駅まで行ってさ、丸岡駅まで行って帰ってきて。
何その無駄な行動？あんたね、今日朝泣いてた姿見てママめちゃくちゃ心が痛んだなと思ったぐらい。でもその原因ってさ、よく考えたら誰が作ってんの？自分自身やんな。
シンプル人間関係作れってです。
どの人間関係？
肉にこうっていう。
それはレイに相談したの？
そうなんです。相談して解決はしてくれた。
まあママに話したくないことやダダに話したいことだって高校生活にはあるだろうと思うけど、でもそれってさ、自分が作ってる原因やっていうことも考えねや。で、あともう一つ言うとくと、ともきは努力してああなってんの。あの子だって辛いこといっぱい経験してるよ。でもあの子は全部っていうか解決してるよ。ともきだけずるいんじゃないよ。ともきがなんとかかんとかじゃないよ。あこ解決するにもものすごく時間かけてやってる。だからあんたがそういう昨日みたいに遅い時間に帰ってきて今日学校休むなんてことはあの子の中ではありえんねって。甘ったれんなって話や。思いから辛く当たられたっていうかもしれないけど、あの子はあの子だって同じ。 先だけって言ってんだよ。もう今日全く面白くない。あんたのばっかり考えてたわ。よい。あんたが心配でしょうがないなママは。寝てもさでも今日会社行く前からあんな泣いた姿見せられてもママ仕事も平日か。でも今日飲みに行きやすいから真っ赤に決まってたことやで。どうしても行かなあかんなった。でも全くよね。そしたらあんたからあんなメール入ってきたら、どうしても僕もなんか考えなあかんからって言ってずっとそればっかり考えてたわ。守るから守る気持ち組んでくれ。全部分かってくれとは言わん。ちょっとは組んでくれ。そしてともきの気持ちも分かってやってくれ。お前のこのドアをバーンってやった気持ち。みんなお前のこと心配してそう。お前に変な道倒してほしくないから。お前にこうちゃんとしてほしいからそういう気持ちになってる。あげく京都行きたいって気持ちはママたちは組んだ。分かったの。変な道に踏み外してほしくないからこの時もお前のこと一生懸命守ろうとしてるってその気持ちを分かってやってくれよ。あいつはいいお兄ちゃんやぞ。誰よりも相談に乗ってくれるお兄ちゃんやぞ。そういうお兄ちゃんバカにするな。何やあいつって言うな。あいつは本当に努力してる。生半可な気持ちでやってない。だから今回の共通テストだって副題受けたりとか勉強はめちゃくちゃ頑張ってるって。お前一回なんか頑張ってる姿見せてくれやママに。その1回目のボクシングは認めてやるってボクシングについたのは。でも気持ち持ってきてやろ今。
What we know regarding Jack Smith's appearance today, Glenn.
Well, it's been going on for about 2.5 hours. We've had a couple of breaks, I think 3 breaks, in which Smith was chased around the halls and he walked away silently without commenting. I think the most noteworthy thing that happened in public was a Fox crew nearly followed Jack in the House of Representatives today, which would have made news. But what we are hearing generally about the testimony behind closed doors is initially it has focused on the toll data that Smith and Company in the special counsel's office had requested from these 10 Republican senators regarding their interactions with the White House on or around January 6, 2021. That seems to have been the tenor. Generally speaking, the body language inside the room, I'm told from several people, has been pretty relaxed. It hasn't been overtly confrontational. And I spoke with a couple of the Democratic members of the committee who were in there who seemed to feel very, very confident that Smith was handling himself well, almost to the point where they were had a tone of mockery about the disparity between Smith's capacity to answer questions and the Republican staff members' capacity to ask them.
Is it staff members that are asking these questions from Republicans, or is it Republican lawmakers? Glenn?
It's a combination of both. It's committee, the way that these depositions typically work, or it's committee staff working in conjunction with members, and that generally, we should say the biggest issue here is that this is taking place behind closed doors. Jack's to make the case against President Trump that he was denied making a report. So there's a deep political calculation that went into this keep Smith of the public view.
So that's interesting. Let's bring in Carol Leonnig, MS Now senior investigative reporter. So Carol, what Glenn just said there, again, is interesting because on the one hand, you have Jim Jordan not wanting Jack Smith to lay out what his investigation found, lay out the case that he had against Donald Trump that he was denied. But on the other hand, still projecting that Jack Smith is a political animal, this was a political prosecution, that he is corrupt, and that they need to question him behind closed doors. Those two things are in conflict with each other.
So you're gonna wake me up tomorrow?
They absolutely are, Katie. And, you know, it's
Are
been
we- are
a
you going or
great
no?
source of frustration for Jack Smith and his legal counsel and team,
Well,
and
if I get
indeed
woke
his
up,
entire
then I know we're
former
going.
special
Don't wake
counsel
me up. I know we're
office.
not going.
Most of them, if they still worked at the Department of Justice, have been fired by Donald Trump. But it's been a source of frustration because Jack Smith being able to articulate the evidence that he gathered to the degree he's able to discuss that, which is already public, for him to narrate what he found could be very devastating publicly for Donald Trump, because it's a platform at which he can say, here's what we found, here's why we thought there was evidence of a crime, and here's why a grand jury